Beautiful artisans, welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. Thank you for being with me today and having a cup of coffee with me. This is like my favorite time of day to sit and have coffee and work on my artwork and share it with you. So before we even begin today, I want to welcome everyone who is new to the channel. We create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies, and it's our way to give the earth a little hug. And what you see behind you this is a used apron. I want to talk about that in a little bit, but and what you see here is some of the design that we're working on our current project of a Boro Sashiko inspired half utility apron. So this is also a half apron, but I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So I wanted to start off this video with talking about a little bit about fast fashion that I talk about in my book. So I want to read a little bit in the book here, just a couple of paragraphs, but to preface it with, for those of you who are not really aware of what fast fashion is, it's the idea of fashion wear clothes being made today in a very, as it says in the title, fast fashion, fast way. And so fast that there's many other issues that go along with this, but including the disposal of possible toxic waste and even concerns about employees in certain places not getting enough rest. And then the fabric itself, how it's made, what they're using. There's a lot of nanoplastics today now being incorporated in making fabrics. So with that, what I want to do is just read a tiny bit here, fast fashion. So we wouldn't be given a full picture of the waste issue without mentioning the fast fashion industry and the possible negative impacts it may have on our environment. By the way, for YouTube, I just need to say this. This is my book, by Carmella-T, by me. Just so they don't think the pictures I'm about to show you are not okay to be showing, because it is. So we look at a few statistics from the paper, The Global Environmental Injustice of Fast Fashion. And that was posted at the National Institute of Health, or what we know as NIH.gov. And I got to tell you, I'm so glad that I have captured some of the statistics from some of these government sites, because some of them could possibly be disabled or, maybe put on hold or whatever with some of the changes going on today. So with that said, I quote, this is quote, globally, 80 billion pieces of new clothing are purchased each year, translating to $1.2 trillion annually for the global fashion industry. And then I put the citation where I got it, so you have that. So the figure of 80 billion of anything, never mind clothing, is staggering. In my opinion, whoever coined this type of fashion as fast fashion was right on. When we think of even a fraction of what is produced yearly ending up in the landfills, we might deduct that it's too much and may cause greater harm to our environment. Based on my own perspective and experience in manufacturing, which I was an HR person, manager for many years, I believe, that's not in the book, I'm just letting you know. I believe if the focus of any fast-paced manufacturing organization is shifted to add earth-friendly value to its production, such as being mindful of how excess fabrics, chemicals, and such are disposed of, the repercussions of having a slowed down production would result in being even more profitable. How? In my opinion, and from the perspective of a consumer, I believe customers simply won't be able to keep up with the purchasing these items as fast as they are made. Now, I can tell you from experience, there's no way I'm going to go buy clothing like every single week, and spend, and like, especially when my kids were growing up, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not going to go spend that whole paycheck every week. You might budget it like every other month. You might need something maybe every 3 months, every season. I really now just look at seasonal. What do I really need? And then I get it from the thrift shop. But I believe consumers won't be able to keep up with this. So today in 2024, the cost is increasing on the more basic of human needs. And I believe at some point the spending frenzy will spin itself out, and sales ultimately, in my humble opinion, will plummet. I also believe earth-friendly clothing businesses will have already become more popular and will enjoy the loyalty of regular customers. And so I'm projecting a little bit, but I'm looking at the future as people wanting to have more organic fabrics like cottons and silks and wools on their body, as opposed to a nanoplastic kind of blended material, because that's what a lot of it is. So with that, if you notice, when you put, at least I have, when you put through some of these clothings or these items through the machine a couple of times, it doesn't feel good against the skin. If it had sleeves, it doesn't feel good against the arm or your back. You start to really feel those nanoplastics, or or it gets kind of a shelly, kind of a hard feel to it. If it's blends of synthetics and acrylics and stuff like that, you do notice it. So I do believe that for concern of our world and even of our health and what's on our bodies, that in time the shift will occur. And this frenzy of creating fashion ridiculously fast, like every month they're putting out different styles and this and that. I believe that that's going to somehow catch up in a more negative, it's not going to be like it is right now or has been in the past, profitable. So the shift will come where people will want more earth-friendly products. So with that, and let me show you a few pictures of my collection in here, because I think some people kind of miss that on some of the other videos that I did. So that is a picture of one of my scrap denim hats, Boro Sashiko inspired. And this is one of my wall pieces. So you can see the pictures I took were close up enough so you can see the stitching in these. And this one, some of you might remember, it's a wall piece of different little whimsical houses. So those are a few of the pictures, and then there's more. This is just a Japanese patchwork, and it was a really fun, simplistic project. And but we got more familiar with the Japanese patchwork stitching by hand with that one. So I wanted to share those few with you. And now what we're going to do Oh, so yeah, if you are interested in the book, I have the link in the content or on my uh, page, my YouTube page. So we'll put that over there. And also, just so you know, over on TikTok, for those of you who crochet, I share with you a mandala blanket I had made a long time ago. And I decided to share it because even though it's a project I did in the past, but I put it on the chair. I pulled it out to kind of spiffy it up a little bit, and I put it on the chair, and it's just beautiful. So I wanted to share that with you. Um, so today, with the Boro Sashiko project that we're doing, um, what I want to do is put the camera down more so you can see a little bit of this patchwork here. Now I am still sewing. What I did was I got it sewed to the point kind of that I wanted it. So because I feel like, look, I feel like I might do something like this, like I might add, and this would be much smaller, but I might add some shapes and a little bit more designs to it, like that. And this is kind of what I wanted to go over with you today, is I want to show you if you're doing a circle. So I cut this circle out because and I cut out a few more patches that I'm going to share with you on the recycled apron that I have had on hand. But with the circle, you can do circles, you can do triangles, you can do the shape of the moon, a tree, you know, make pictures. You can do all of these things with your patches to and do your hand stitching, your visible stitching to create these designs. So with that, I'm going to push this apron up a little bit because I want to show you the next design I'm doing is going to be this circle. So we're going to get that in place. And we're just pushing that up a little bit. And what I want to do is add another circle in it. So I can put it over to the side like that, because maybe I add something else. I would do contrasting color over here. So I'm not going to do that one. But there is a beautiful fabric I want to show you that I want to add. So we're going to do that right now. And I'm going to actually make it in the shape of a heart. So we're going to do that. And I'm just cutting that out. So I'm just cutting out this piece so you can see. And look at that though. Look at the flowers. We could even leave it like that and just kind of have the flowers coming up. But let's see if we can focus on, we'll fold it this way and see if we can have one of those flowers in there. So I'm going to bring this back over here and just put this up here and just cut this so you can see. So we have our little heart, but look how pretty that is. It's got the purple and the pink. So I want that heart like that. So that is what I am sewing on next onto our inspired, Boro Sashiko inspired utility apron. And I just wanted to show you that. I just kind of left a little space between the design that we had done on our last video up here. And then I just created this little design with you here. Because for this piece, we're not going to have every single part of the apron covered with the patches. So with that said, before we start sewing this, I would like to, I'm going to take this apron down. So I'm going to hold it up here so you can see. This apron is, the reason I kept it is because my mom had given this to me, oh, I want to say almost 30 years ago. This is 30 years old. And the reason I kept it is, first of all, I love it, but we both love sunflowers. Now you see, these are sunflowers or daisies, but look at the design. It's very classic. It's very vintage. This is a vintage apron, and the ties are just wonderful, but the pockets are beautiful. So the yellow that the type of yellow that this is like a deep yellow. So it's the kind of yellow I love. Now, with that said, if you look at the design of the sunflowers and then look at the few patches I chose. So I'm going to hold them here. See the bees. Now you can see where I had stitched this. I was making something and I didn't throw it out. I kept it. And then there's this. So these go kind of really nicely with the striped background of the sunflowers, you see, and then the stripes there. So a couple of pieces like this, just kind of putting them together. And I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm showing you in case some of you have a apron that you found at the thrift shop and you're like, I really love the theme. I don't want to ruin the theme. I don't want to ruin the design. Or you're like, yeah, I definitely need to change up the design and add to it. So you can theme your apron. But look, I mean, I just want to show, I'm trying to get this up here. Yeah. So I'm just showing you, you can get a piece like this. You can cut it in the shape of a heart, but look at that. I mean, these are coming down. It just complements the stripe, black and white stripes, and look at the polka dots for the flower. And then the bees, you know, I mean, the bees are perfect for the flowers. So, and this I would make like smaller patch on here, or even maybe in a little circle or heart even. So I wanted to share that with you because some of you may have gone out and you're like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get my own apron. I'm not going to make an apron like you're doing, Carmella, from scratch. And yeah, you definitely don't have to. That's just the idea that if you have this extra fabric around and you want to make it, or you want to make a custom size half apron. So with that, I'm going to put this thrift shop apron to the side, and we will come back around in our next projects and do that one together. So what I want to do is start with you the circle, and I just want to show you how I do this. Now, some people, maybe a traditional sewist or whatnot, they might start in the middle, or I will tell you, I typically start out here on the edges. Now, looking at a piece like this, you have the heart, you have another little circle, and then you have this large circle. So you have a couple choices going on here. You can take your Sashiko stitching, your running stitches, and you can first do your stitches of your purple larger circle. Or you can just start your larger circle and you can go around and have them overlap your little circle and your heart. Or, whoops, you can have a 3 or 4 different, 3, maybe more things going on. You can do the stitching in the shape of the heart, which would be absolutely adorable. So we might do that. And or in the shape of the circle. And then you can have here stitches vertical and horizontal, or you can do seed stitching and do different stitches in each of the shapes. loops. Now, I think it looks just adorable if you go straight around with your running stitches. However, for the sake of kind of showing you the different effects, what I'd like to do is start with the little circle here and do some seed stitching, because seed stitching is my favorite. And then I might, when I go around the purple circle, which we're going to do in a few minutes, but let's just get this kind of, we'll start the seed stitching here so you can see. And it's very, very easy, but you see how beautiful that effect is already. And I'm going to remove that pin. So I like to talk to you about all your different options, because I think people don't realize they've got all these different options. They're thinking, okay, I got to sew it on this way or that way. And you really do have the choices. It's okay if you sew on your purple piece first and then put pieces on top of it, because that is what Boro was based on, is mending, repairing, yes, stacking fabrics, reinforcing them. Now the seed stitching, you can just go any direction. So I'm going to have to use my left hand to sew a little bit to get it over on the other side so you can see what I mean. So we'll get it over there. And the seed stitching is just what it means. Really tiny little stitches, like little seeds. So, but I love the effect. I think it's just beautiful. Now I have a little tail sticking out there, so I want to push that back in and pull my stitch. And now you see me just going in different directions. So that's seed stitching right there. And we're doing this in real time. So you see it's not taking too long. And we've almost got the little circle. Well, it's not full of stitches yet, that's for sure. But we've got a good number of stitches there. Okay. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for a moment because I want to show you an effect. So I'm going to take that off the thread. So now here, what you can do is switch colors. You can switch colors of your threads. So I am going to reach over here for a moment. And I have a nice orange. I have a nice orange color thread, and I want to see how it looks on the purple. So, and I want to show you a little technique that I do, because like I said, you can definitely sew your first piece down, because here you technically have a few layers now. But something I've come to find out is that if I just start sewing my little pieces on the way I want, I come back and I'm sewing that first piece on, and I'm able to use the running stitch as a design. Okay, so with that said, what I mean is like this. So I want to right now go around. Now, as I go around this, I guess I can start. So I started a little ways in. As I go around this, I can play around with my spacing a little bit if I want to. So, whoops. We don't want to lose that heart there. So I'm going to just go around like I am with the circle, and this lands on my little yellow circle. Okay, it lands there. That's okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could have taken the thread and kept it underneath if I wanted to, but I can switch the stitch. Okay. So now that I'm in my little yellow circle, I am switching the stitch. I'm going to a seed stitch now. Okay, here's a seed stitch, and it's in orange. That's fine. And I'm sorry, I'm off camera. Now I'm coming back over here onto the purple. And you're like, well, Carmella, you're not going to be in line with your other stitches. But that's okay, because the way this happens is if I am going in a circle with my stitches, like spiraling, it will be fine. There may be some that aren't perfect, but if you do want it perfect, you can always use an invisible pen and draw on your piece. So now what I'm going to do is stand up for a moment because I need to get on this angle, and I want to go back now to my running stitch. Okay, I'm going around my circle, and I'm going back now to my running stitch. You see? And so see there. So I went to seed stitch and I went back to running stitch. And that's what I wanted to show you. Now with your heart, maybe you're going to do little crosses or check marks or just the running stitch or just the shape of the heart. If you do the shape of the heart and you don't want to obscure any of that particular stitching there, just bring your needle and thread when you're going around your little circle, keep it underneath. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I hope that helps. I'm going to go ahead and finish all of this when we put the camera off. And then the next time we come back, I'll have a few more designs on here, and this will probably be nearly done. So with that, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you for being with me. I hope that you have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll see you shortly.